We're doing a tag today. First of all, let me apologize because I cannot close the window, so you're probably going to hear cars. But anyway, I got tagged by QWordy to do the Overwhelmed book tag. Since I already planned December to be mostly book talk, it fits really well. The original tag is by Kathy Trithardt. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Kathy, it's by Kathy, and I'll link that video and QWordy's video down below. So question 1, are you feeling overwhelmed and why? A little bit. There are 3 factors going into this. 1 is work. This time of the year, we're always overworked because we gotta finish everything before Christmas. Mostly because we go on break for January, so we're not open at all. So no one's picking up. We're not getting new orders, everything. So it all needs to be done. Before you get jealous though, doesn't mean we're not working. Sadly. Number 2 is home stuff. We need to do winter prep. Today we actually reattached a chunk of the garage wall that blew off in the wind in that little windstorm we had the other day. Our next project is replacing broken windows in the door, also from the wind. And then storm windows. I hate storm windows. They're heavy and they make scrapey noises when you can't do it. And then number 3 on the list is personal goals. I decided to plow through and finish this entire novel draft before the new year. So I'm doing that. God, what is everyone going home now? What time is it? Yeah, everyone's going home now. Okay, but I also want to read like 13 books to get my Goodreads challenge, and these 2 goals are opposing each other. That also leads me to question 2. Tell us about the TBR lurking over my shoulder. So we could talk about my Goodreads TBR, which is astronomical. It's so long, I'm never gonna read any of those books practically. Or we could talk about my year-end TBR video, which I did a while ago. I have only made a tiny dent in that list, mostly because I read other things that were not on the list. But last night I did start reading the Gilded Ones. Actually, I got it right here. This is a good book. I was up until like approaching 6 a.m. reading this, and I'm still not done with it. I will finish you soon though. So once I finish this book and I finish dragging my feet on the character arc creation book, I think I'll have 11 more books to go before I get my Goodreads challenge. I might be able to do this. So after that, I'm going to jump into The Darkness Outside Us or the Japanese vampire book, depending on my friend's schedule, because that's supposed to be like a buddy read. Number 3, how is video making / bookternet posting shaping your reading experience? I'm definitely reading more, I think. It's keeping me accountable for this and for writing too, definitely. Because like even if no one watches the video, which never happens. I mean, the view counts are very low, but they're never 0. But even if it was 0, like I still would have had to do the thing to get on camera to talk about the thing. But that makes sense. So it's keeping me going. So yeah, net positive. And I get to rant about things that I would not be able to in real life. I mean, where else was I gonna talk for 5-10 minutes about how one character's age didn't jive with the North Korea Human Rights Act of 2004? Where? By the way, that particular rant was from prior to being diagnosed as autistic, and man, the signs were there. They were there. Number 4, what do you think you could do differently to not be so overwhelmed? This is definitely an I don't know. Most of my day is dictated on what other people's plans are. So besides giving up sleep altogether, I'm not really sure how that would, alleviate anything. Maybe if I was like 15, I could go without sleep for a couple days. Now I think doing that will just it will just bring all of my problems to a sudden and abrupt end. If you get what I'm trying to hint at. So, not a good idea. Number 5, do you have any projects you really want to do but something's holding you back? And I want to get the brake pads replaced on my car. They're embarrassingly loud. Mechanics say it's totally fine, it's totally safe, and it's gonna cost money. So I'm like, ugh. But also I'm like, it's really loud. It's very, very hard to ignore. I also want to finish framing this print I bought like 2 years ago. It's just been sitting in a drawer. An appropriate wood has not presented itself. Because I frame my stuff out of like scrap wood. I gotta wait until something long enough and that will fit on the frame like materializes. These are boring projects, I know, but like I'm actually working on the interesting project, so I don't know what else to say in number 5. Number 6, is there a book or genre that brings you joy? Does it spark joy? Or bring you into a satisfying place? For like the 70th time on this channel, I would like to mention that my favorite book series of all time that I've reread the most out of every book on the planet is the Kyo Karamao novels. The original story, not the anime. If you've only seen the anime, sorry. But if you have, just know that that stereotypical queerbaity, incredibly unhealthy possessiveness and stuff is anime only. There's 18 novels, and the first 4, the one love interest guy, he does act a little bit like that, but then he grows up and gets over it. And then the other 16, so I can't do math, the other 12 books, he's like a normal, amazing dude. And they're actually together, they actually get together. So like, it's a real thing in the books as opposed to queerbait. Okay, I just want you to know that I just called YA sci-fi Wi-Fi. I feel like that deserves to be kept in. As I was trying to say, in general, genres, I like fantasy and YA sci-fi. Specifically YA sci-fi. There's something about adult sci-fi that just turns me off unless it's in movie form. I love an adult sci-fi movie. Adult sci-fi books make me want to gouge my eyes out. Controversial opinion, probably, but I don't like them. I just want to say that this is in general, there are exceptions. Number 7, how much does FOMO play into feeling overwhelmed? FOMO as in fear of missing out. Not at all, really. I've always been one to like bookmark things to revisit at a later date. Unless it's something I'm already super interested in which case it's probably a video game and I've been following the development for several years now and it's fun. So for me, it's more FOMD, which I might be making up, but it's fear of missing deadlines. That is what makes me overwhelmed. Deadlines. Like, you will always find someone to dish about a popular book release or Twitter drama. Those YouTube videos will sit very nice in your watch later list. There will always be receipts, to use young people talk. But deadlines will not forgive you. They will destroy you. I guess if you're someone who's like really into like views and exposure and like you really want to be out there, then yeah, you kind of depend on being included in the current conversation. But this channel is like my quasi therapy, more so than like exposure. I don't know why I'm still quoting. So yeah, it's not really something that affects me that much. Number 8. Is there anything, let me actually read this, trying to remember. Is there anything you do specifically because of BookTube, bookternet, that you'd likely drop without it? Make videos. Although I do still make gaming videos and just have them sitting around on my computer, so maybe I would. But nah, I think that'd be too weird. I think it'd be too weird to make these kinds of videos and not post them. Gaming, yeah. No, I don't think I'd make videos anymore. I also might not think so deeply about the books I'm reading. Like, there would be the normal level of analysis, like daydreaming about the book, thinking about it as you're reading it, blah blah blah. But there wouldn't be writing down my thoughts or ranting into the voice recorder on the drive home, stuff like that. Trying to think of an example. So, one example is Aurora Rising and Aurora, whatever the second book was called, Burning. I probably wouldn't have realized how fanficky they were. Like, it was fanficky, obviously. It was just had that feel to it. But if I had just read it, to just read it and not like talk about it on camera, I might not have noticed like all of the like the massive amounts of connections, like sussy connections to other stories. I would have still noticed the Dragon Age parallels, because Dragon Age was like jumping off the page directly into my face. So I would have noticed that. But I don't think I would have noticed the Attack on Titan things. There was something else that was like really obscure that I didn't figure out until I thought about it. And then BookTube itself, if BookTube didn't exist, I would have never noticed or would have never known about the Guardians of the Galaxy, like straight off ripoff of a scene. So yeah, I would have been less critical of things. Critical, not the harsh critical, but like analytical critical. If that makes sense. I have so many complicated feelings about the Aurora Rising, Aurora whatever trilogy, because I really like the books, but it's also like a sketchy book from sketchy people that is actually good. So anyway, on that not controversial at all note, this is an open tag to anyone who has made it this far through my rambling. These are always fun to make, probably because there's the structure and defined parameters. But anyway, see you all next week with something. Maybe I'll be gushing about the Gilded Ones. Who knows? Also, I may have been blurry this entire video. Number 3, how is bookmaking? I guess if you're like really someone who chases after views and stuff like that, or who like wants to get, excuse you sir,